Chawla, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your busy schedule, and thank you for being with us, joining with us. And I would like to welcome our participants from various parts of our country. And let me have a brief introduction about our resource person. And Professor Dr. Isha Jain is currently working as assistant professor at North Cap University, Gurugram, Haryana. And she is a qualified trainer from Amazon in the field of e-commerce, and she has in philosophy in management from Pacific University, Udaipur, and she is a government certified technical analyst and NSC certified trainer, and she has been qualified with UGC NET in the field of management and completed her MBA in finance and marketing from Kurukshetra University. And I would like to list out a few honors and awards received by her, and she's been selected for Bharat Vidya Shiromani Award and awarded with Eminent Educationalist Award, Asia Pacific International Award, Rajiv Gandhi Education, and many more awards she has also received. And she has developed 20 modules. She has developed like a few things like Asian model, tourist destination model, EMQSL model, and she has acted as a session chair, resource person in various FDPs, MDP, workshop, conference, symposium, and many more in reputed institutions throughout our country. And she has acted as an academic advisor, reviewer, editorial board member, and members in many reputed journals and in professional bodies. And she has acted as acting as a PhD supervisor, secretary, convener, member, and in many academic events. And she has published more than 30 plus books, and she has obtained 8 patents, and she has published 70 plus research papers in reputed national and international journals. And she has also attended 150 plus conference, seminar, workshop, etc. And it's noteworthy to mention she has also passed like certificate courses from University of California, Mercury University, Indian School of Business, etc. And her profile continues. And we have such an eminent person with us, and she has joined with us despite of her busy schedule. Madam has accepted our invitation and joined with us. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining with us. And let's hand over the platform to our resource person to address our audience. We welcome you, ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sasi Kumar, for inviting me. I am very thankful to the organization, Vivekanand College of Arts for Women, and for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this faculty development program. So today, in this session, we will discuss about transforming teaching and learning in digital perspective. So let me share my PPT with you.
Yes, ma'am, please.
I hope it's visible to all of you. I hope it's visible to all of you.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's clearly visible.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today we will discuss about the teaching, transforming teaching and learning in digital perspective. I'm Dr. Isha Jain from Gurugram, Delhi. So when we're talking about the digital transformation of teaching and learning, specifically in this pandemic situation, digital transformation is the combination of improved innovation into all regions of a business in a general sense, changing how you work and deliver an enticement to clients. It is moreover a societal transformation that anticipates associations to persistently speed things up, explode, and get settled up with disillusionment. Education is one of the most important sectors in the economy that will decide the futures of the students in the country. India is moving towards the path of digitalization in every possible sector of the economy and using combinations of information and communication technology to ease the process of digitization, such as e-commerce, e-governance, e-media, etc. The life of people has been moving at a fast pace and everyone wants to make optimum use of their time. The use of digital technologies has changed the face of education in our country. The learning of students has increased at a fast pace because they have the flexibility to access the educational materials when they require it. The usage of technology in the education sector has increased the interaction between a teacher and a student because teachers can focus on the weak points of a student with the help of assessment reports generated in online teaching softwares. Digitalization in education alludes to the utilization of workstations, cell phones, internet, programming applications, and different sorts of advanced innovation to show understudies, all things considered. Test taking utilizing a PC, online colleges, digital books, and edutainment are only a couple of instances of digitalization in instructions today. A few instructors had innovation in evangelists accept that inevitably training will be a completely computerized interest strengthened by man-made consciousness and augmented reality. The traditional method of teaching is now replaced with the help of computers, iPods, mobiles, smartphones, tablets, etc., which have revolutionized the method of learning. With the help of digital learning, experts and teachers from the diverse field can come together to a common platform and enrich the students about different cultures and values that are followed across nations. And this will help the students to grow in every aspect of life. Digital technologies have innovated the way of learning across nations. Information and communication technology have simplified the learning process with the help of online content development and management. There are two aspects of digital education, one from the perspective of students and other from the perspective of teachers. The digital technologies have to lead to the emergence of learning online in the present scenario of COVID-19, where it's not possible to take classes physically in the school and colleges premises. The information technology applications such as Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Classrooms, Google Meets, they have been used for taking classes online. These apps have eased the process of learning and ensure continuity of learning for the students. The learning is now not restricted to the school and college premises, but it is dependent on the accessibility to the internet and information and communication devices. The IT companies have developed software and applications that are used in schools and universities nowadays to keep the process of learning uninterrupted. More and higher educational institutions are adopting information and technology-driven software to upgrade and keep their students and teachers abreast of the latest technologies in the world. High-profile schools have already shifted to virtual classrooms platforms. They allow students to do their work on laptops and tablets, but there are various private and government schools and colleges which still solely depend on physical infrastructure for learning. Now, the objective should be to cope up with the changes in the progression of technology in the field of education. We live in a developing economy where the digitalization has been not fully acceptable to many. So the need for the current situation is to make them aware of the benefits of digitalization in the education sector. The use of digital textbooks, online classes, personalization and teaching, diversity in teaching, use of multimedia will lead to dynamic changes in the field of education and learning processes. The online platform makes the learning process more innovative and interesting to the students. The teachers try to resolve the queries on a real-time basis. So nowadays, learning is not restricted to the physical presence of students and teachers. All the needed thing is access to internet and communication technologies. Now, various competitive examination preparation coaching centers have also adopted information and communication technology, as they have started delivering lectures with the help of a satellite classes, and students will be provided with a LMS, learning management system, and online doubts clarification session by the subject experts. It will lead to saving of cost, efforts, and money. Nevertheless, students will be able to take classes from the subject experts located across the world. The process of digitalization in the education sector has its pros and cons. Therefore, a balance needs to strike between both modes of learning. The online learning process may lead to health hazards as it will affect the eyes of the students, as they will be staring at the screen for longer duration, and students may develop the feeling of lethargy and skip the classes as they think they are not monitored. So let's go through the background of this digitalization in education sector, the transformation in the education sector. So in this, I have gone through various studies in the past since 2002 till date. So let me give you the brief overview of those studies related to the digitalization of education sector. So the first one is from panel 2002. He discussed a curriculum framework aimed at developing information and communication technologies for teachers. It has been seen that ICT board changes in terms of social practice and a changing discourse about communication. And the study reported how the framework of information and communication technology has been applied in Japan curriculum. It was found in the study that many teachers were not aware of the ICT literacies and they were not able to integrate them into the curriculum. The data was collected from some schools in Japan, and it was found that teachers have been shifted towards an awareness of ICT literacies made available to them. Then there is another study from Balls in 2004. They affirmed that e-learning contained three main areas of activities like content formation and management, knowledge management, and education activity. They also observed that superior network capacity and learning interactivity through CD-ROM, CBT, online content, ebook, data sharing, file transfer, videos and virtual classrooms, and two-way synchronous with datacast and broadcast. Then there was a study in 2011 by Hong and Song, and they explored that senior instruction organizations that utilized computerized advances to grow course materials, convey and share course substance, talks and introductions, encourage correspondence among speakers and understudies, empower educational development, improve proficient turn of events, and blast managerial and board administration. This study considered the instructional methods related to various sorts of MOOC courses, massive open online courses, and it contended that the present talk around the idea of MOOC and MOOC center around outfitting the intensity of computerized media and correspondence with peers, receiving a connection learning approach is a deficient method of portraying the assortment of MOOCs and how learners engage with them. Another study revealed out of 75% of scholarly time happened out of typical available time. 16 all out staff hours were required to help 1 hour of understudy online movement. Then in this, they described the recent developments in open educational initiatives and emerging evolution in education and learning, and developed the foundation for the studies and policies on the open educational resources. And Malcolm explored the changes in expectations that teachers and students had for gaining access to electronic information and how librarians were responding to those expectations. And the changes brought by electronic technology had made faculty, libraries, and universities to consider collaborative and consortium approaches to providing services and improve the whole phenomena of online learning. And Camilleri explored the educators' attitudes and perceptions about their exploitation of digital learning applications and found that the higher educational institutions were committed to use digital technologies. Then Dube investigated the perspectives of university students of Zimbabwe on the use of digital technologies as the tools and techniques for the learning and teaching process, and found that the limited use of digital technologies could lead to a second order digital divide. Then this study devised a suitable business model to exploit the opportunities in Indian video on demand industry for imparting online knowledge, and found that responsiveness and empathy had not that much impact on the customer satisfaction as compared to other dimensions of circle model. Then in this study, Jain and Yadav stated that technology is a major factor and tool for educators to reach the masses and the target audience for imparting quality education, and digitalization is very helpful in achieving the target. He stated that one of the logical inconsistencies genuinely obstructing the modernization of instruction is the error between the speed of digitalization of instructive assets and the speed at which the digitalization of the instructive procedure itself, which is still extremely low. Then Yodming studied the requirement of including the internet in the teaching and need for using digital media in the traditional classroom. And he suggested that teachers felt confident while using digital media in the traditional classroom setup. All participants understand the significance of using the internet in the classroom. Teachers acknowledge the efforts of school administrators who have initiated the shift towards the digitalization of education. And it was also found that some schools in Japan did not provide the needed infrastructure for the digitalization of education. And Bond described the perception of students and teachers about the adoption of digital tools in German university classrooms. And they revealed that both students and teachers used LMS, Learning Management System, as the most useful tool. They supported the broader use of educational technology for instruction and learning policies and policies for higher education departments. Then Islam and Jahan focused on effectiveness, social network, gender, education, time, and helpful website and tools inside the classroom, and showed that the effect of social networking in the education and the future, one can work with e-learning through Facebook that will more interactive and easier to access. Then Marathe stated that India has exciting opportunities in the education technology sector with a rising young population, and digitalization in the education system will be a big success. Rees provides insights regarding the state of art of digital transformation and indicate that managers should adapt their trade approach to a new digital reality. So here digital transformation has expanded to all sectors of activity. There are some areas with more projection of being urbanized in the upcoming time being others. They studied the digital transformation in the education sector and how digital technology in the current situation had opened new opportunities and avenues for the learners. The implementation of digital education in the modern world has been studied, and what kind of risk is associated. Contemporary students have been also taken care of. And it was revealed that test group students of Nabraxian Training Institute of Kazan Federal University had shown better results in comparison to the students of reference groups. Then Chatwal described the digitalization in the education system in India, basic changes faced by the higher education regarding the motivational level of students, resistance to change, technical skills of the students, student performance evaluation and all. Then Raglutu showed that online learning based on digitalization, implicitly and exponentially synergizes with character education, especially on character values of responsibility, independence, honesty, discipline, hard work, and curiosity. TOSA proved that advanced innovations are applicable and broadly utilized in different territories of societies, the executive, financial relations, science, trainings, and all. So with the help of all these reviews, my main motive was to tell you that it is not a new concept to transform education into a digital part, into a digitalized, to transform the education into a digital sector is not the new concept. The study were going from a long time, and the people were looking for the digitalization of education, the importance, the pros and cons of the same from a long time. But due to this pandemic, this COVID-19 situation, it almost makes compulsory for everyone to, to digitize the education and to take online classes, to provide online resources and everything. Now, the next is the digital education transforming the face of education. And with the advancement in technology, the process of interaction between a teacher and fellow student has completely changed in the last 2 years. Digital education has redefined the process of learning. Now, learning is not restricted to the walls of schools or colleges or universities. The learner just needs the ICT-enabled technology at its disposal to learn and explore the new path of education. Classroom teaching has been replaced by online classes and distance education, online blogs, video tutorials. They help the students to study and gain knowledge about their area of interest. This will help the students to enhance their knowledge and broaden their concepts and thinking potential. With the help of an online learning platform, they can learn from the best faculty located in any part of the world. It has led to overcoming the problem of place hindrance. With the help of technology, education has become free and easily accessible. Now, digital textbooks, physical textbooks have been replaced by digital textbooks, e-books. No longer students make notes of the learning. They just access the study material available online and use them for their reading and practice purposes. Actual books are substituted by the e-books, e-magazines, PDF, etc. And textbooks have become extinct in a certain part of the world. The students carrying their heavy bags to school has become a thing of the past. They just carry their laptops, tablets, iPods to the school and enrich their learning experience with this ICT-enabled technology learning. Then the online classroom is the classroom where students and teachers located in their native place can interact and exchange their thoughts and experience. All they need is a good internet connection and information and communication devices. Teachers can give online assessments to students, and online teaching experience will be even more effective with the help of a virtual whiteboard. So online quizzes, assignment keep the students engaged, and they can be easily evaluated by the teachers. The increased use of digital technology has also helped in bringing teachers from different cultures and subject domains from different parts of the world to come to a common virtual platform and share knowledge and experience with the students located in different parts of the world. Students can enroll in a multicultural classroom where the aim is to learn and explore the cultures of the country. Then the technology has undergone several changes, and the use of multimedia has created to the needs of the different group of students. The online learning platform allows the teachers to personalize the teaching content according to the capability of the students. They can differentiate the students by making different teams according to the ability of the students and assign the content and study material accordingly. With the help of personalized lessons and projects, every student can learn and understand lessons at their own pace. Teachers can give online feedback to the students, and results can be shared online itself after evaluation. Now, how digitalization is transforming teaching methods. Schools are slowly, universities are slowly looking at technology as an opportunity to develop teaching methods and resonate with students on a technology at a technology level. So at a time like this, in this pandemic specifically, learning to change our teaching methods by incorporating technology is the only way to bring light to the lives of our students. Now, what are institutions, universities, colleges doing in order to bring about the change? First one is the smart class. Teaching with a whiteboard, chalk, and markers are now a thing of the past, and teachers have shifted to making use of projectors, VCD, DVD players, and e-learning system to display tutorial videos and short sessions online to help understand that learning can be fun too. Many schools now come with a TV or a projector attached to their whiteboard, where it is easy to shift from a normal classroom to an interactive digital session. This can make students pay more attention, as we are now in the digital era where Google is our go-to place. Then being digitally updated. Now, in a tech-savvy world, education has become easily outdated, as there is always something new happening. Equipping some students to be updated with news and other subject-related topics is the best way to teach students to grow as a person. Students spend most of their time on their laptops, their phones, and their iPads. Knowing what sources students can refer to online and knowing which websites offer the best information can be a great way to guide students. Then converting books to PDFs. Books are now taken to Kindle and other tabs. Sending them notes, references, and other information in PDF formats that can be easily accessed on laptops, phones, and tabs is a good way to encourage students to choose to study better. Then encouraging online tests. Training students on subjects by conducting fun online tests from time to time can create a good learning environment. Students can be given online quiz and assessments that they can take from home, replacing general homework that they find excuses for. Then conducting online webinars. How attentive are students when there is only a one-way communication with the teacher standing in front of a whiteboard? So it was found that the classroom becoming noisy or students becoming easily disinterested in the topic. Conducting online seminars and webinars, enabling all students to engage in commenting and participating in questionnaires can help them stay alert. Then supporting online research, like how a teacher is well prepared for a classroom session encouraging students to be prepared to, and that can drive students to be excited about taking up classes. Online research is trending and people find exciting careers in market research and more. So asking students to find something online that is difficult to find or encouraging online research by giving them a list of things to find before the next class is a good way to keep students looking forward to more classes. It really does feel like a great achievement knowing you have found something that no other student could find. So giving them rewards or appreciating their online findings can encourage students to make the best use of the digital resources they have. Then creating communities, the interaction between a teacher and a student doesn't have to end at school in a classroom. An online community is where a group or a team stay connected online, submitting projects, discussing topics, or expressing ideas. Teachers can set a platform for students to communicate their ideas, suggestions, and subject-related queries for them to solve anytime. Being open to online activities like these keeps students more focused even outside of school without realizing the fact that the learning process continues even after classes are done. Then let's talk about the government initiatives in transformation. The Human Resource Department Minister Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal has ensured that there is no interruption in the learning process. Students are being motivated to carry on their studies with the help of e-learning platforms, and the online classes provide them study material, online video tutorials, blogs, learning management systems so that learning continues. So the e-learning platform provides opportunities to interact with teachers and enhance their skill set and knowledge. Now, when we're talking about the government initiative, first one is the National Repository of Open Educational Resources, NROER. It has provided an online platform for accessing e-resources such as e-books, e-courses, e-libraries, the opportunity to participate in online events and content-based education. It is one of the most excellent initiatives by the Government of India that provides content in both Hindi and English language. It provides the opportunity for self-learning and establishing standards of quality education. The next is Diksha. The Government of India has developed a portal that is useful for both the students and teachers. It is beneficial for teachers to learn the working of online learning platforms, and more they are equipped with these platforms, more effective lessons they can deliver to students. The students have the option to scan the QR code and they will get access to the study material available in the repository. The distinguishing feature of this platform is that it is available in different languages. Then ePathshala. With the help of this online web portal, students from standard 1st to 12th get the right to use more than 1,886 audios, 2,000 videos, 696 ebooks, and 504 flip books. This web portal is also available in multiple languages, and the online learning platform makes the learning process more innovative and interesting to the students. Swayam, I hope all of us know about this also. It is one of the initiatives taken by the Government of India to encourage students to learn with the help of ICT-enabled services. The platform provides free courses to undergraduate and postgraduate students. It also provides a certificate after payment of nominal fees. Usually it is 1,000 rupees only. This platform is connected to national corridors. The use of digital textbooks, online classes, personalization in teaching, diversity in teaching, use of multimedia will lead to dynamic changes in the field of education and learning process. Then management of digitalization strategy. The digitalization of education sector has led to continuous learning that is beneficial for the students as well as teachers despite facing the medical emergency in the country. The digital world is standing uninterrupted due to the COVID-19 crisis, and the academic calendar of the schools and colleges is changed with due regard to the guidelines issued by the HRD, Human Resource Department. So having access to ICT, the students can have continuous classes and teachers can also evaluate their assignments and projects with the help of e-learning platforms like Teams, Google Meet, Zoom, etc. Yes. The whole process of learning is simplified. Teachers organize quiz and online tests, which keep students motivated to perform better. And during the phase of COVID-19, the whole world is suffering, and so their students, but educational specialists are organized webinars to address the issue of higher education during this hard time for the education sector. Now, when we're talking about the process of learning that has undergone many changes since ancient times, from the phase of learning in a Gurukul where learners reside with their gurus and enrich their knowledge with the practical exposure to students, to the phase of physical infrastructure like schools and university premises where students, teachers both come together to enlighten the process of learning. But now we have come far in the 21st century, which is an era of technology advancement and automation, and digital technology has changed nearly every aspect of our lives. Education is an inevitable part of everyone's life, and the mode of education defines how strong conceptual knowledge a learner would have. So when we're talking about the student's perspective here, we can, study the transformation of education into digitization in two different aspects, from student's perspective and for faculty perspective. So when we're talking about the student's perspective, the online learning platform has provided interactive and knowledge enhancing gateway, but it depends on students how far they want to take it. Still, learners face problems related to network connection, and the affordability of the ICT devices will remain a major issue in the digitization of education. Students in this 21st century are technology prone, but when it comes to studying, there is an unwillingness among them to adopt online learning culture. Computer courses taught online are much more effective than theoretical subjects, and students want that duration of the online classes should be adequate. Lengthy online lectures cause fatigue and boredom, and students used to follow unethical practices during lectures. They just logged in and keep the device and engage themselves in other activities. Teachers failed to monitor students effectively, and students do whatever they like, thinking that they are not being monitored. So digitalization of education can sustain in our country when students are interested in taking online classes. Now, various health issues are also faced by students, such as continuously staring the screen cause pain in eyes. They become monotonous. Students often face the problem of headaches due to long duration of online classes. Practical subjects are being found as difficult to learn online. The online learning platform can supplement traditional classroom, but it totally, because students cherish going schools and carrying their bags and meeting their friends, enjoying in canteens and so on. So, but on the other hand, some of the students also, they become careless due to recording lectures, as they have the opinion that they will see video lectures during the examination time. So they skip the current sessions of online classes. Some of the students accepted that they share their login IDs and passwords with friends, and their friends attend the lectures on their behalf, or their younger sisters or brothers they are attending. Students believe that online classes are effective during COVID-19, as their studies are not affected much, but the final year students are least happy with online classes because they want to enjoy their last year of their college life. So students follow the practice of copying the content also for assignment from their classmates and upload the same in the assignment section. They felt that assessment of the test and quiz will not be authenticated and reliable because students resort to unfair means such as cheating. Then the teacher's perspective towards digitalization of education. Now, every problem comes up with opportunities which are needed to identify and utilized optimally. The present situation due to the COVID-19 pandemic has posed challenges and opportunities both in the education domain. Now, when we're talking about the teacher's perspective, there is a positive impact due to this pandemic that has taken a new turn and got evolved in an unimagined way. Online classes have started, virtual summer internships are provided by reputed companies to the students, and online examination is being conducted effectively to evaluate. Now, teachers and faculty members are positively adopting the digitalization of education and making optimum use of digital media. The admission process for the upcoming session has been shifted to the online platforms. Teachers are attending online workshops. They are actively participating in the webinars, in the faculty development programs. Teachers can make optimum use of time with the help of ICT-enabled devices during online sessions, as they can mute the students who create chaos in the class. So, The pandemic has provided an opportunity for teachers to upgrade their skills and knowledge by joining multidisciplinary courses available, and teachers are attending. Teachers are even increasing their research activities. They can understand the difference between business of education and education of business. So faculty have realized that they do not need physical classrooms to teach students. Learning is all the way more effective and fruitful in the virtual classrooms. Digital education material and content management will be more helpful for the students to prepare for their examinations, and the online learning platform has made it easier to evaluate the students' assignment and test, as teachers can give feedback online and return their marks as well. So virtual classroom provides innovative and interactive tools to make learning productive and enjoyable. So my final thoughts on the topic is that education is the most important part of one's life, and the growth of the education sector will ultimately strengthen the base of our country. More educated and skilled people in the country, there will be more contribution to the development of and prosperity of the nation. And digitalization of education with the help of ICT to have to lead to study anywhere, anytime with basic connectivity to the internet. Success of online learning classroom depends on the cooperation from the students, and the students need to more attentive and focused while taking online classes. Phase of digitalization has two aspects, one from teachers and another from faculty point of view. Interaction between both during virtual classes determine the success of education in the digital world. Students find it difficult to understand practical subjects like mathematics, accountancy, geometry, and so on in virtual classes, and they understand practical subjects more effectively in the normal class. The whole world is facing economic crunch and disturbance in the routine life structure, and the pace of education is continuing and upgrading the skills of the students. And as the country is facing a medical emergency, the online classes are very much helpful and maintaining consistency in the learning process. So at last, it can be said that there is no substitute for the traditional classroom, but during the phase of COVID-19 pandemic, ICT-enabled processes to have proven to be very useful, and the phase of learning continues. Thank you. If you have any query, please ask.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your valuable thoughts and ideas and how this traditional classrooms, due to this pandemic situation, we have transformed to digital classrooms. So you have very well explained about the concepts, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of our institution, we extend a grateful gratitude to you, ma'am. And now the participants can clarify their queries with our resource person, please. Yes, ma'am. Now we will make them to enable their mic, ma'am. Yes, dear participants, if you have any queries, please.
Yeah, good morning. This is Dr. Rangarajan from Chennai. It's a wonderful session by the very specific topic itself you have chosen as to how the digital education is going to change the education perspective, education activities of the teachers and the learners. But you know something, the digital technology, ICT tools, various platforms are more familiar, more applicable to the probably the urban and semi-urban students. But you know, majority of the institutions are located in the semi-urban, probably rural and the villages. Now, the problem is the connectivity, the amount of knowledge they have, amount of investment they have in terms of the you know, gadgets and tools. Now that is definitely an impediment for us. That is definitely a roadblock for us as educated, as administrated, as institution, for all of us. Therefore, I would like to point out that the online education is probably a supplementary tool to the normal physical classes. So keeping this in mind, I would like to know to what extent the institutions are prepared, to what extent the students are prepared, keeping the infrastructure in mind. That is what my question. That is really doubtful. Probably people like you and me are aware of this communication technology, ICT tools, and all that. But what about those students who do not have the proper home itself? they don't have the proper economic status itself. In fact, where I teach in the regular colleges, they do not have the capability to pay the fees itself. So leave alone this Android technology and all that. But I think we should look into that aspect also. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I am completely agree with you, sir. There is a problem in every sphere of the country that where it's not only about the students who are from rural background or like that, everyone can learn if they want to learn.
Correct.
The major problem is with those who can't afford the laptops or the smartphones or like that. But I believe nowadays majority of the students are having their mobile phones, smartphones with them, but still there are people I know even in the metro cities who are not having the smartphones with them. They are having the basic phones, and it is very difficult for them to go for these online classes or like that. It happened that students are having the smartphones, they are having the laptops, their parents has provided them, but they are living in those areas, in those places where the broadband connectivity is not very good. The students face lots of connectivity issues, network issues. So yes, there is a challenge in this digitalization of education. That's why I'm talking about the cons as well, the negative parts the students are facing, because the students even who are adopting all these ICT tools and they are attending the classes online, even we experience that the students are simply logged in the class in the Teams on Google Meet, whatever software institutes are using. So they simply logged in the class, just mute themselves, then turn off their cameras, and they are doing whatever they want to do. Number of times it happened that the laptop is at their home, but the students are roaming in the markets or somewhere outside.
I know. Even in the examination time also,
that's why I said,
very shockingly, they copy down the answer sheet from the neighbors, that they are simply uploading it in the website. I mean, that's negative part of it. But there are, of course, as you rightly pointed out, there are more positive aspects of the digital learning. Correct.
Yes, sir, the number of things is that now students have the, you can say, they know how to search online. Even we have YouTube from number of years, but I don't think that, or even the students go to YouTube to learn some new techniques or learn about some particular topic or software. Very few there, and specifically if I'm talking about the students, they use YouTube for movies, for other videos, or the other fun videos. Correct. But they never very few are there who use YouTube for their learning, knowledge sharing process, or the education for the educational purposes. So very few students are there. So it's all about the perspective of the students that I have studied during this study. I think this is the study which is already published in a Scopus Index journal of mine. A very, very recent publication, just last month back. And in this, we have studied about the, psychology of the students as well as faculty. So what we have found, that students find it that no one is monitoring. So there is no use whether we are studying or not, because even the examinations are online, and what they are doing, they are simply doing all the copy paste from the Google.
Correct.
Yeah. If you find, you will find a common link. What the students are doing, they are forming their personal WhatsApp groups. They are simply, one topper or the 2-3 toppers. They are searching the answers and pass all the answers and links in that WhatsApp. Everyone is copying from there. So what strategy we can adopt here? We can do one thing here, that we can cross check those answers in the Google software, and you will easily find out the link. Simply provide them with link. You will find majority of the students have. I think someone has muted me. And the second thing, what we faculty can use as a strategy to cope up with this limitation or challenge, that we can provide them more with objective questions rather than subjective questions, because it is very easy for them to copy 5-6 subjective questions from Google, but it is very difficult for them to search for 50 or 60 objective type questions or multiple choice questions to search on Google in a limited time. So a few strategies we can adopt being a faculty. So what we have studied in this, that the major issue is from the student side is all about their psychology, that whether they want to learn. People are there, students are there who are taking very good advantage of this. Last year, Coursera has made it free for all the universities. Their all courses were free, but they have charging even in this year now. So there are majority of institutes, majority of colleges who emphasized and who emphasized on those courses, who told their students that they should go to for these courses. They can earn certificates for their curriculum vitae, for their resume. The courses are from very good universities around the world, but very few students are there who were serious even in that case when the courses were free. So it's all about the student psychology as well. Yes, there is a challenge with the people who are living in rural background, who are not having good internet connection, or with the students who are not able to afford the smartphones. At least you can say a basic smartphone you can purchase it at 5,000, in which you can install the software, but then they are having the issues of internet in their areas or like that. There are a number of areas in the country where there is still a problem for internet connectivity, broadband connections or like that. So yes, there are challenges and I think it will take time, but this COVID pandemic, that's a positive thing about COVID pandemic, that it actually transformed our education industry into digitalization in a very beautiful way. Number of people have learned number of things in this pandemic. We learned how to teach online. We learned about number of softwares. We learned about number of tools. Number of people are there, faculties are there, professors are there who knew about this technology before as well. But majority of the faculty from different backgrounds were new to these tools, to these softwares, to this online learning. So, the world has completely changed in last 1 year. So we can not only say that COVID pandemic has put all the things in a negative way, but there are some transformations because of this pandemic that we people have acquired. And there are some positive transformations we can say.
Yes,
regarding the quality of education.
But there is one major problem. Yes, I completely agree with one of the chat here. About the quality of education. Yes, I completely agree. That's what I said in my final thoughts. That yes, this is actually affecting. I already gave you one assumption that it is only, will be very fruitful only if the student cooperate with the faculty. See, so that's the major challenge about the learning of the student. But yes, we can adopt one strategy in this. We can do one solution in this case, that we should not focus more on now theoretical knowledge. We should focus on practical one. Like if we are, teaching some concepts, theoretical concepts to them in the online session, you can ask them to do some practical research for those concepts. You can give them a project. You can give them an article to write down. You can give them a short case study, a story based on those concepts. So it will enhance their creativity, their conceptualization, and their interest in the subject. So basically, we have to focus on research-oriented assignments and projects now, so that we can capture their attention.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. You have rightly pointed out the pros and cons of this digital perspective of this classroom. Thanks a lot, ma'am. And any other participants, if you have the queries, please, you can have a clarification.
Ma'am, good morning, ma'am. It is Dr. Surendra from Coimbatore.
Yes,
my voice is audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What sir asked, it is very good question. But what is the thing? Simple tools so that the rural area students also can able to use it, so that the teachers also can use that. So like the tools you can able to say, ma'am.
So like for online sessions, we are having some very basic softwares like Google Meet, because these days everyone are having their Google account. So it is very easy to operate through Google Meet. Then there is a Zoom, it is free for some part. Then most of the institutes have acquired some softwares like Microsoft Teams or so on. They can acquire. So, and when we're talking about the learning processes, I hope these days with every student who is having a smartphone, they are having YouTube access. And, we never, realized, but actually YouTube is a very good source of learning. Is a very good source of knowledge sharing, very good source of learning in an informal way. You have the very good resources there. So it is a very, very basic tool, very basic app for the students in the rural area, because everyone these days now, having smartphones. If they are having smartphones, YouTube is not a paid software or a paid app. It's a very free app. They can access anything from any area, even if they are having any passion, any hobby related to any sphere of the life, even besides academics. They can search on the YouTube, and they can find beautiful ways. I learned number of softwares like R software and then Python and few softwares from YouTube only. So it's a very good way of learning, very good resource. Even a rural background student can go for. Very, very basic. Google and YouTube are like go-to place for everyone, even for the faculty as well as student. If you are not having time, sir, if you want to search for a single concept, you are getting confused and you are only having 1 or 2 minutes left, it's not feasible for you to go through the books or notes, to simply just scroll that on Google. So it's a very, very basic tool, Google and YouTube, for anyone to serve and to enhance their knowledge.
Thank you, ma'am.
Acha, one more point I want to add.
Hello.
As Madam rightly pointed out, we can make use of this video lecture to the benefit of the students. During this pandemic period, I myself have recorded about 2 hours of the video lecturing, and then go to university, and then they can upload it. The students, whenever they find time, whenever they want to take a look at this particular subject, they can learn from that. I think video lecturing is also a good area where one can definitely spread the knowledge in terms of the different perspectives. Your video lecture containing about 1.5 hours time will take through the different aspects of subjects. I think it is also one of the useful tools for those who may not really spend time in terms of online classes. After the class are over, they can search and they can pointedly look out for a particular subject. They can learn from the video lectures. That's what I wanted to say.
Sir,
Thank you, ma'am.
Even for the practical subjects, like I am a finance faculty, so for usually what we are doing for last number of years, we are teaching students accounts on whiteboard on their notebooks or like that. Even the stock market subjects like security analysis, we are teaching them on boards. But with the help of this online, digitalization of education, it is very easy that we enhance their knowledge as well. We are teaching them accountancy through Excel. So they know how to do accounting solutions on MS Excel. We are teaching them security analysis, stock market concepts with the help of technical indicators, tools and software, and which is actually enhancing their skills in a better way. So there are, very good positive points also from this digitalization of education.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So you have rightly pointed out the things like this Google Meet and Zoom. These are very useful, friendly for both faculty and students. And even we can record the sessions, and the students with some network disconnectivity, they can view the sessions. So in this perspective, so our resource persons are going to speak about the video lecturing systems in later sessions. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, sir, for your clarifications. Yes, ma'am. And yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And if you other participants are having some queries, you please just make it in the chat box, and we will get the queries, get it clarified. So our resource person, the next session we will start shortly. Yes, ma'am. And yes, ma'am. Can we do like that, ma'am? Can we have the queries in the chat box and we will discuss, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And
yes,
we
sir.
can
Please
have a
continue with your session, and I will resolve the queries in the chat box. On my email.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in the slide, you can note this email ID. You can, if you have any query, you can mail me.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you, ma'am. And at the outset, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our resource person, Professor Dr. Isha Jain, ma'am. So currently working as assistant professor at North Cap University, Gurgaon, Haryana. So despite of her busy schedule, madam has joined with us and shared plenty of valuable inputs with us. On behalf of our institution and college and Department of Commerce, we extend a heartfelt thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining with us, ma'am.
Sir, my pleasure, sir. Thanks to you for giving me this.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, ma'am. And we received a lot of compliments and a positive feedback through the chat box. We have received a lot of things, ma'am, and the credit goes
my
to
honor,
entirely to ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing the ideas, ma'am. And next.